I can't find my way back to you until you make amends with the demons you've been through. And I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home. Find your way back home. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown.
premiered with a Han Solo rumor. These past couple Decembers have been huge for Star Wars fans. In 2015, we saw the return of Star Wars with The Force Awakens, and in 2016, it was Rogue One, the first of many biannual Star Wars spin-offs, giving way for a whole slew of new holiday songs like I'll Be Home for Star Wars and I Saw Mommy Kissing Chewbacca. Okay, I made those up, but they would be great songs. And because of the December success of the past, it makes sense to see Star Wars Episode 8 move from May 2017 to December 2017. And even though the Han Solo movie has had a solid May 2018 release date ever since it was announced, based on the December success of
Hey guys! How's that for energy? How's that for energy? Alright, hey guys, what's going on? Exactly welcome back to the Fan Report, where it's by fans. Alright, here we go, we got it again.
Will premiere Thursday, December 13th, 2018. You're right, you did. And though this hasn't been confirmed by Disney or Lucasfilm,
big show going on tonight for you guys tonight. A little bit of an elongated show, hopefully. We've got some extra topics going out there tonight.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Again, as usual, they're up on the left-hand side.
A new Star Wars movie after the old one hits home release. It also gives them a buffer from other summer blockbusters from the studio, like Avengers Infinity War, which would have directly succeeded on Han Solo had it come out the same month. What do you think about keeping Star Wars releases contained to December? Let us know in the comments.
Okay,
Thanks
let's
for
find
watching.
out what that is, what the sound is. I see what it is. Yeah, alright. Sorry about that, guys.
A little preview for what's to come.
Yeah, if you didn't catch that, a little preview for what's to come. So, well, producer saves the day as usual. Anyways, that's our fault. Sorry about that. But, again, hope you guys have a good time. If you like what you see, please feel free to hit the follow button right down below. You can catch us when we go live. Also, please feel free to follow us on Twitter at RealFanReport.
Absolutely.
You can interact with us, shoot us any topics you want, or
Absolutely.
just, shoot the shit, whatever.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, don't even need to run down the topics. They're up there on the left, or my left, probably. Well, I don't know.
You guys are a mess.
What's going on?
What?
Was there more shit playing?
Oh my god, yes. I guess there was. There's more shit playing in the background. Whatever. So, we just are screwing up all over the place tonight. But, you know what? Let's have some fun anyways.
Beers
Whatever.
are flowing. Times are going.
Yeah, please. Again, as usual, feel free. Have a drink with us. I'm kind of pissed you're not raising your glass with me.
What up, Obama Lizard?
Cheers.
UCLA
Lizard,
was the chosen one. You know what?
I was very disappointed UCLA didn't
I hate to
win.
say I told you so, but I'm not going to say I told you so because
you picked UCLA.
2 for 8. No, I didn't pick UCLA.
Yes, you did. You picked UCLA to beat Kentucky.
Not in my bracket, though. I picked them in the little...
Okay, but you picked UCLA to beat Kentucky in your picks.
Yep.
Which, by the way, your picks were god-awful.
I was picking losers, man. That's what.
Clearly!
It takes
but
more,
you failed at that,
as
too!
As Kanye said, it takes more talent not to rhyme than to rhyme.
Okay, he's an idiot. But anyways, guys, hope you guys have a good time, because we're definitely going to. We're all hyped up tonight, so let's get it going. First off, we're hitting it right away. March Madness.
Break down what happened over the past couple days, as well as today.
Huge upset. We're going to start with that. Huge upset.
You don't want to start in the beginning?
The beginning?
Sweet 16. We're already in the lead.
That was in the Sweet 16.
What huge upset happened in the Sweet 16? Xavier over Arizona? Don't talk to me about that, man.
Yes! Xavier, Arizona! Huge upset!
Literally just tore up my bracket. Just destroyed it.
It's because you chose garbage-ass Arizona to win it all.
Garbage.
They lost to an 11 seed.
Literally just wiped.
That's pretty damn garbage.
Xavier just took my bracket and
pretty
wiped
sure I had
their ass
Arizona losing the Sweet 16 anyways, so sucks to be you. Anyways, but Xavier beating Arizona, who would have thunked it? Who would have thought Arizona would lose to an 11 seed in Xavier? Frankly, I didn't think Xavier would make it this far either. So
who would have thunk?
Props to them, no doubt. You also had Michigan. Finally, their run coming to an end to Oregon. Actually, a game I thought was going to go the other way. I was kind of surprised with that one. You had... Who else did we see? We saw Gonzaga win. We saw UNC.
That was when I picked right.
Oh, so you guys ready for my Texas Rangers to kick? Yeah, get out of here. That is not going to happen, man. They're not that good.
So we saw Oregon beat Michigan.
We did see Oregon beat Michigan. Gonzaga coming through against West Virginia.
Kansas embarrassed Purdue.
Yes, West Virginia had probably the worst final possession I've ever seen in the history of basketball.
Yeah. It was interesting.
What the hell was that?
We touched on it last show because it happened as did the show. And one of you guys brought it up. Like,
yeah, it
was did you guys see that last? No,
it was our boy.
No, it was a new guy that came in.
Oh, it was Get Buckets.
And it was, and he goes, "Did you guys see that last possession?" I'm like, "That was a wild last possession."
Worst final possession in the history of basketball.
And
what were they doing?
I honestly, I didn't even because I had really glanced at it, so I didn't realize how actually terrible it was until I went back and watched it again.
It's bad. You want to talk about inexperienced nerves in a pressure situation? That screams it.
And
that was
about,
bad.
How about UNC putting up 92 on Butler? That was.
I told you.
That was impressive.
I told you. You picked Butler over UNC. I said there's no way UNC gets stopped by Butler.
But you agreed that there would be a low scoring game.
I thought it would be a low scoring game. I thought Butler was going to have a little bit better of a defensive showing than that. But UNC just showed that they're on another level than Butler, which I said was going to happen. And what do you know? It did. UNC proved to me that they really are the favorite to win the national championship. That's why I picked them in 2 of my 3 brackets. They are that good. They are a team that is making so much noise, and it was kind of a statement game against Butler. That's them saying, "Hey, you can't beat us.
Yeah.
We're too good." So definitely my team to beat at this point. We had Kansas win their game.
And South Carolina took out Baylor, which
South Carolina took out
doesn't
Baylor.
surprise me. I reluctantly picked Baylor. I didn't have much confidence in them.
But
does
you
surprise
probably
me by
took-
how much they beat them by.
Yes, agreed. They took care of business. South Carolina really took care of business, and I think we fell into a little bit of a seeding trap with our picks by both of us picking Baylor because you have to remember who South Carolina beat to get there. They beat Duke,
which
is
high
a
on
team
to
that I
begin
had.
with, though, so it wasn't.
But I was high on Duke because they had so much returning talent from injury. They were playing hotter than just about anyone in college basketball. I was high on them. They were a team I thought could have gone to the Final Four, but the fact that South Carolina beat a team like that was red hot and had all that talent and was Duke told me that we kind of fell into a trap a little bit of the seeding because South Carolina is better than their 7 seed. Yeah. So it's proven, and I wasn't high on Baylor to begin with.
Like with Xavier too.
Well, Xavier I think is just running on a hot streak. Gonzaga's going to win it all. I don't think Gonzaga's going to win it all. I really don't. I think there's 2 teams that will take care of business against Gonzaga. UNC and Kansas.
Kansas might not make it.
Kansas might not even make it, but I
think
they're
they're currently down 13 to Oregon with 8:57 to play.
That's kind of surprising, and that kind of makes you wonder how good Michigan is, how good Michigan really is, because even though I'm not a Michigan fan, they really fought hard against that Oregon team, and it was one bad
you know what game was really heartbreaker? Wisconsin taking the L to Florida.
And I told you that was going to happen. Shot. Yes, it was a heartbreaker, and it was one of the weirdest and coolest shots I've ever seen. That 3-pointer that was just literally.
It seemed like he hovered to the free throw line
because he literally took off from the 3-point line and just hung into the air until he released the ball, and he just hung there. Literally, longest hang time. Literally was the longest half second of my life, honestly, because. And then he swished the shot. It was nothing but string music. It was beautiful, but. Heartbreaker, and again, a pick that I got right that you got wrong. So that's 2 that we differed on that I won and you lost. Of course. What do you know? As it usually goes. So, but yeah, no. Florida, I knew was going to win that game from the beginning. That was a team that I thought was just the better team between the 2. It was a very good game, very hard-fought game. Florida blew it, I thought, in the end. They had a big lead going into that final 5 minutes, and then they blew it. They forced Wisconsin, give them a lot of credit, came back, fought hard. Forced OT on a 3-pointer with 2 seconds to play. That was huge. Another huge shot right there. And then Florida just, in the OT, they fought back and forth. And then Florida had the last possession. You felt in that game that the team who had the ball last, if the game was within a 1-possession game, the team who had the ball last is going to win it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what happened. So, but definitely a lot of excitement in the Sweet 16. I expect even more in the Elite 8 if we see Xavier continue their run of what the hell is going on. It's going to get crazy because when was the last time an 11 seed was in the Final Four? And UNC, I think, continues dominance. Gonzaga is a team that's going to make some noise. Them against Xavier is going to be fun. Wait, didn't they play today?
Who?
Gonzaga and Xavier.
No.
When did they play?
Oh, they did play it. Sorry,
Gonzaga won. Yeah, Gonzaga beat Xavier.
83-59.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And the Wizards destroyed the Cavs today. Wow. The Wizards are a team don't sleep on. There are 2 teams I think that could really make.
John Wall, 37 points, 11 assists.
There's a lot of. There's 2 teams in the East that I really think could give the Cavs a run for the money, and that's the Wizards and the Celtics.
All right, question. So, as a semi-Pistons fan at this point,
I'm okay. No, I'm a huge Pistons fan. I'm just pissed off at what they're doing.
If the Celtics beat they're only half a game behind the Cavs now.
Yep.
If the Celtics overtake first seed,
okay,
would you mind seeing the Pistons in 8th? Because the Pistons have played the Celtics really well.
No,
all
I don't.
season.
They get swept by the Celtics.
I don't think they get swept.
They get swept by the Celtics.
They didn't get swept during regular season series.
They get swept by the Celtics. They didn't get swept last year in the Cavs regular season series either.
Well,
Look what
they
happened.
played them real tight every single game.
And they got swept.
But they
didn't
got swept. It was the closest sweep I've ever seen.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. It definitely didn't feel like a sweep, but it was a sweep. And that's exactly what will happen with the Celtics. Celtics are just a better team.
Yeah.
And the Pistons, all around, in every facet of the game, they're better.
Yeah.
And there's no chance the Pistons even win a game in a 4-game playoff series against them. So I don't want the Pistons to even make the playoffs. I want them to tank. I want them to lose the rest of the season so they at least get a pick that's not garbage. So, because they fucked themselves by winning 7 out of 10. Because they're not going to make the playoffs at this point. They're playing terrible. They have no heart. And for them to come out and be content being 10th in their conference and getting like a 14
I agree with
pick,
you.
that's
I agree with
terrible.
you, Bomb Lizard. I think the Spurs will take care of business against the Cavs.
Oh, I completely agree. The Spurs will take care of business. Spurs are one of the best teams out there right now. I think they may even be better than the Warriors. Granted, the Warriors have increased their gap in the West.
Yeah.
But the Spurs are playing some great basketball. So definitely a team to watch out for, without a doubt. I mean, you can't ever really count out the Spurs.
Never. But back to March Madness. Let's take our picks for the Final Four. We already know Gonzaga's in.
Gonzaga's in.
Let's
so
operate on the assumption that Oregon comes in. They're up by 14 now with 7:48 to go.
Okay.
So who do you
Don't
got?
count out Kansas.
I'm just saying let's operate on the assumption.
Okay, let's.
assumption.
Well,
Not-
fuck your assumptions.
not the-
Take your pick.
I'm
going
I have
Oregon.
Oregon. moving on.
We'll go with the assumption.
So, who do you got playing Kansas? UNC or Kentucky?
UNC.
Or playing Oregon. Sorry, UNC or
UNC.
Kentucky.
Yeah, I think UNC takes
I
care of
agree.
business.
UNC.
Continuously. Yep, you bet against them last
And then who do
week.
you have playing Gonzaga? Florida or South Carolina?
That is a tough one. That one's really tough for me because those are two teams that really. South Carolina's playing with house money at this point. Florida is a good team, but they seem to. Wisconsin's a good team also. This one's tough for me. The South Carolina beating Duke and beating Baylor. How good are those two teams that they beat? Duke seems like a really good team to me. They seem like they were, a real threat, but they weren't a vintage Duke team. And Baylor, I was a little iffy on. So I really didn't know. Whereas Florida beating Press Virginia, one of the best defenses in college basketball. That's a tough one to beat. That's a tough win. So you got to, and then they had the largest margin of victory.
Gonzaga beat West Virginia. Florida beat Wisconsin.
You're right. Florida beat Wisconsin. You're right. My bad. And beating Wisconsin, that's a really tough game. They fought hard, but Wisconsin also really struggled at the end of the year. They didn't really show that they were that great of a team. So you really got to wonder how good they are. So
I really want to pick South Carolina.
I do too.
I really want to.
I do too, but Florida's had such a good tournament. It's tough to say.
I was really impressed by them, even though they scraped by them beating Wisconsin, because I thought Wisconsin was a really strong team in this tournament.
I did too, and they really kind of came through. In the Big Ten tournament, they didn't really show that much, and then before that, they were really struggling.
And
they were a team that was kind of floundering.
Handled Virginia too.
They did. You're right. They did. But again, their road to the finals has been tough. I mean, up until the Wisconsin game, they had the biggest margin of victory in the tournament of any team so far. So at 20.5 points, which is unreal. But
so who you take?
I'll let you go first because I don't know.
I want to have fun. Give me
Let's
South
go South
Carolina.
Carolina. Yeah, I like it. I was thinking the same thing. I want to have a little fun. I want to see, since we don't have Xavier in the Final Four, let's have one low seed in it. Let's have South Carolina go. So
maybe Ford just runs out of gas. And
maybe
then again,
they
you
do.
could say South Carolina.
Yeah,
Run out
you
of gas.
could say the same thing. I mean,
But then again,
any team at any time could run out
South
of
Carolina
gas.
hasn't really had a close game.
Who?
South Carolina hasn't really had a close game.
No,
have
they haven't. They've taken care of business.
Florida had to go to overtime.
Yeah, South Carolina's taking
You know what?
care
I'll
of business.
take South Carolina. Florida's coming off an overtime game. They're going to be a little tired.
Yeah, but South Carolina's taking care of business, and they've done it as a lower seed than most of the teams they've played. So props to them. I think they do go.
So I guess our Final Four is South Carolina versus Gonzaga, and then Oregon versus UNC.
You think South Carolina beats Zaga?
No.
No?
So I think the road ends there.
Gonzaga's one of those teams
we'll
that
talk-
kind of flops out.
I mean, those games aren't until April 1st, so you
Yeah,
can say that for next show. We don't want to give our
So-
prediction away too early.
Moving on from March Madness there, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty, the very end, the most exciting part of the month, the Final Four. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are too. So that moves us into our NFL. We're switching sports up on you. We're going to the NFL here to continue our mock draft. We have our top 10 picks set in stone. I want to change my third pick still. But I can't. I wish I could. But so moves us into our picks. We're doing 11 through 15 tonight. we'll do 16 through 20 next week on next weekend's show.
Yep.
And then we'll continue on from there. But tonight we do 11 through 15. We worked hard on this one.
We'll end about a week before the actual draft.
And I gotta say
So
though,
I think we might take some time to spend a show saying, if we could change any of our picks, if we want to do that. But
yeah, I gotta say though, past like 11, 12, past like 10, it's hard to do these mock drafts. It's hard because none of the mock drafts you can reference even come close to what you've got anymore because whatever. But so let's start. I wish we had mock draft music. I wish we had like the NFL music in the background. But number 11 is the Saints.
But copyrights.
Yeah, copyrights. We could probably use it. Just throw a little ad lib up there. A little.
If I beatbox
We
to
don't
it,
own this. No, get
and
out
then
of here.
and then like when it's altered, it's like a remix.
Sure. All right. Number 11, the New Orleans Saints.
Do we have the
They
same guy
have
here?
what?
Do we have the same guy here? Continue. Go.
I don't know that we do. I don't think we have the same player here. And in my opinion, they have two huge needs in the defense. That's defensive end. They need an edge pass rusher. They need someone big that can make some noise. They need something on the outside coming in, hitting those quarterbacks, getting some pressure on the quarterback. But they really do need secondary. Their secondary has been terrible for the past,
They need
8
anything
years?
named defense.
Yes, absolutely. I think their other position in need was linebacker. So go figure.
Defense.
Defense with
You
the
can't
Saints.
go wrong with any defensive player.
And I went with a guy that I'm not too convinced on, but seems like a guy who's high on the big
Sound
board.
the guy I took, but continue.
He's high on teams' big boards. He's high on the NFL big boards. He's high on every analyst big boards. He's a noisemaker. He puts a lot of pressure on quarterbacks.
Does he have a really cool first name?
Yes, he does. It's also one of my favorite fast food joints. I'm going with defensive end Taco Charlton from the University of Michigan.
There you go.
He's an edge rusher. He had a great year when Michigan switched from the 3-4 to the 4-3.
That's what.
And that's what the Saints play, and that's what really sold me on it. Yes, I'm not very high on him. That could be the Michigan State fandom getting in the way, but at the same time, the guy made a lot of noise in this past season, and he's a guy who's gone really high in a lot of draft boards, so that's where I'm taking him. Number 11, New Orleans Saints taking Taco Charlton, defensive end.
Like you said, that is what sold me. Is as soon as he switched from a 3-4 to a 4-3 defense, his production skyrocketed. The team's behind, and if he was to go as high as analysts think he's gonna go, this is about his last shot. Is right here with the Saints, because after that you got a bunch of teams playing the 3-4.
What's going on, OMG? It's Patrick22.
Hey,
How you doing tonight?
is
Welcome to the
Patrick.
fan report.
Not a crusty crab.
No, this is Patrick.
Anyway, so everyone behind him, it's gonna be a glut of 3-4 defenses. So if he's gonna go as high as people say he's gonna go,
Absolutely.
it's gonna be right here. And the Saints really do have a need in that position. It's a perfect fit.
It is a good fit for him, and that kind of sucks because a lot of the mocks had the Lions taking him too. So,
I go Taco Charlton to the Saints.
so hit us with 12.
Number 12, we got the Cleveland Browns. Their second pick in the first round.
Again.
And I have your boy over here going, Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky finally off my board at number 12.
I took him at 3. I don't know why. I do know why. Don't get me wrong.
So in your opinion, this is a great value pick for the Browns. Then.
Absolutely, because in my opinion, the Bears, I'm doing all right. How about you, gentlemen? We're doing fantastic tonight, having a drink. We're doing fantastic. Just talk a little NFL
Talking
mock
mock
drafts.
draft.
We'll talk about some other shit later too. Topics up on the side if you want to check them out. Hope you hang out and hope you hang out with us and chill out and throw in some input. But we're doing great. Thanks for asking. But I get my Bears pick taking a quarterback because you build the franchise with a quarterback. They're in a rebuild. That's where you start it.
Yeah.
However, if I were to change that pick to something else, I don't know where I'd go. I'd have Mitch Trubisky going here.
You wouldn't agree with my pick at Joe Adams for 3?
I might. Holy shit, he's still on my board.
Are you serious?
Holy shit.
Fucking A, bro.
Wow. He's dropped below 15 for me then. Holy shit. But, no. Maybe I would go Jamal Adams then. But Mitch Trubisky would be going here for me. However, since he's not on my draft board, not available on my board anymore, I went Deshaun Kaiser, quarterback from the University of Notre Dame. They need a quarterback. That is,
So
they
both
need
agree quarterback
yes,
here.
they definitely need a quarterback, no doubt. That's where you build your franchise. Granted, the Browns, no matter who they pick, will pick the wrong guy. So that's just what they do. So moving on from there, brings up the number 13 pick, the Arizona Cardinals, and this is a pick for me that I think is a position of need for them. It's one of they need defense, really, in my opinion, and then they need a receiver. Granted, I don't have a receiver here that I really like going this high in the draft. John Ross isn't. I'm not sold on John Ross going top 15, top 20. He's really fast, but I don't know if he's quite a top 15 talent. So I'm going here, the cornerback from the University of Alabama, Marshon Lattimore. He's a guy. He's a real playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. He's a ball hawk. He's someone that can make some noise out there. That's what they need. Opposite of Patrick Peterson Patrick Peterson. Yeah, Patrick Peterson. That's a perfect fit for them.
I was real close mocking John Ross to them after losing Michael Floyd after getting him cut, and John Brown having all those injury issues, and Larry Fitzgerald just another year older.
You never know what you're going to get with Fitz. You always think, is this the year he finally declines? But he always proves that he's still got something.
Exactly. But is
this the year, though?
I really,
I've said the last 3 years, but is this the year?
I've said every year, yes.
Cardinals still rolling with old man Carson. Okay, this is another spot.
This is why I didn't take John Ross.
This is another spot that I could see a quarterback going. Problem is, the next quarterback on my board is Patrick Mahomes, the second from Texas Tech. I don't like him going that 13. He's not that's a reach in my opinion. So
this is why I didn't end up mocking John Ross. Is I don't see them taking a first round receiver until they have a new quarterback.
I agree with you
because they're gonna want to take a receiver that fits their quarterback's style of play.
Oh, I completely agree.
They're not going to pick a quarterback to fit the receiver. So I think they're going to shore up the receivers via whatever's left out there in free agency still, whatever they need to get.
That makes sense. I mean,
so I agree with you, Marshon Lattimore. Even though they have Patrick Peterson on one end, but then short up Marshon Lattimore on the other end, and then you already have Tyrann Mathieu at safety. You've
probably got one of the best. Plus, you got to understand, Tyrann Mathieu has a lot of injuries.
I mean, it's a luxury. It's a bit of a luxury pick. It's a need,
really, though, because it's
secondary. A need, but it's a bit of a luxury pick because they do. I feel like defensive line is a bigger need for them.
Peterson's also not getting any younger. Plus, he does deal with some injury issues. Tyrann Mathieu deals with a lot of injuries. So their secondary, while it's got a lot of talent, isn't really set in stone. I mean, I could have even gone Jamal Adams here and taken a safety for him. That's a position that they probably could even use because of Matthew's injury issues. But that would be a luxury pick, so I didn't. So
anyway,
moving on from
number 14, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, and I went running back. One of the biggest things in this draft, Leonard Fournette going to the Eagles. I was minorly invested in the Eagles running back core this fantasy season. I had Wendell Smallwood.
For what?
He was
a half a minute?
About 2 games, actually. He got cut real quick. I got people attempted to give me Ryan Matthews often, and I just kept declining those trades. Their running back situation is putrid.
It's a mess because they constantly deal with injuries.
I think their best guy is Kenyon Barner, and he barely plays. But exactly. I feel like if they give him time,
Darren Sproles is a great pass-catching back, but he's not a running back.
Exactly.
He's like Theo Riddick. Riddick is not a running back.
I think Leonard Fournette and Kenyon Barner could be a perfect change of pace by
Could you imagine Leonard Fournette with Carson Wentz there too? I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, and then keep Wendell Smallwood as a returner. Cut Ryan Matthews. Fuck him. Yeah. And I think they have a solid running game.
You know what? That was my pick, too. And, I really like Leonard Fournette a lot. The man looks like he's 40, but he's 20. The guy is a beast. He's a monster.
Last person who said that about was Ashawn Robinson. Look how he did.
He was great.
Exactly.
He was great. And the thing that really sold me on, what analysts have been saying about Leonard Fournette, because he's one of those guys that is he really going to be that great because he plays in a system in LSU that really favors those types of players, those big guys, that running back. But the thing that really sold me on him was a lot of analysts and a lot of guys real close to the people watching Leonard Fournette on a daily basis and watching his workouts and watching his, his practices are saying this guy is a more sure thing than Ezekiel Elliott was coming out of the draft. Wow. And that really blew me away to hear that he's more of a sure thing than Zeke is. So that's where I'd have no doubt in my mind he's a top 15 at the bare minimum pick going here. Even if it's a luxury pick for teams, I could still see teams taking a guy like that. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott was a luxury pick for the Cowboys. Look how that panned out. They had Alfred Morris. They had Darren McFadden. Ezekiel Elliott is a position they didn't need, and they took him, and it really worked out.
Really, really interesting. 2 formerly really good running backs are just kind of washed up.
Exactly, but there's still guys. I mean, there's still guys that can make noise.
Yeah, but I feel like if you pair them together, if they didn't have Zeke Elliott, I feel like if you paired Alfred Morris and Jeremy Fallon both playing half the time of a full,
I think it would look pretty good.
Yeah,
though.
because you're not
They
putting a
would
lot of miles
complement
on
each
them in
other.
one
Yeah, they
season,
would complement each other.
But,
So that's why Ezekiel Elliott was
hey,
really a luxury
Zeke's a
pick for them.
beast, so.
He is, and it worked out. And that's why I think this is going to work out for the Eagles, because while it is kind of a luxury pick, it is still kind of a need, too, because of the injury issues. So Leonard Fournette, perfect fit for them because it really fits their style. He's a better bruiser than DeMarco Murray was. He's still got some speed on him, and he's what they need on their offense. Really gives that offense a two-dimensional look. So that brings us to our 5th pick of this grouping, the 15th pick, and this one
I think
was
I got
one
my guy now, though.
I had a lot of problems with, and it was because of 2 names I came down with. I struggled with this one so much, and because there's so many needs for them, and that was I went 2 different positions, both defense for the Colts, because obvious. You could go offensive line here, because obvious, but they really need defense in that, in Indy, and that's why I went either 2 guys here, cornerback or defensive end, because they need some
Which
pass
side
rush.
are you going? Corner, defensive end?
I struggled with this, but I think I'm going to go with corner here. I think Marlon Humphrey from the University of Alabama
So no
is the
Jamal
next.
Adams.
Oh my God, no! I changed that shit. I changed it. Safety, Jamal Adams. Wait, no, they have solid safeties, don't they?
I honestly I do not know how their safety situation is.
Let's find out their safe situation, because I could actually change the pick now that I discovered Jamal Adams is on the board.
So the Colts safeties this year. Oh, sorry, wrong link. Okay, so the Colts safeties had Darius Butler,
Solid.
Matthias Farley,
Who's that?
Clayton Geathers,
Who's that?
T.J. Green, Lee Hightower. I don't know who their starters are. I should pull up a depth chart.
Yeah, pull up a damn depth chart, man. Come on, Colts need a new punter. Absolutely. But who the fuck drafts a punter besides maybe the
Okay.
Lions?
Here we go. Depth chart.
There we go. That's what I need. They've got
So they got Andrew Williamson and
Clayton
Clayton
Gathers.
Gathers.
So you could argue them going safety here.
could.
Their safety core isn't horrible, but it's not good either. And Jamal Adams is a guy who really could be a great
You're
player.
best served getting Jamal Adams the fuck off your board right now, though.
Yeah, but I really like them going with Marlon
Go for it.
Humphrey. But
Go
you know
for
what? I'm going Jamal Adams.
Same for the Lions.
Well,
I'll be
hold
more
on,
than happy.
hold on.
I'll go my pick.
Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
your
my
pick and let me come back to mine.
My pick's going to be defensive end. I'm going to Karis McKinley.
Okay.
I'm going to Karis McKinley for the Colts.
That was my other pick. Karis McKinley
Their
was my
pass
other
rush
pick.
is god awful. God fucking awful. If I'm not mistaken, they did have. I'm pretty sure they were bottom 5 in sacks this year. They could not
were.
pressure the quarterback.
But they were bottom 5 in pass defense.
They were
too.
bottom 5 in everything. They sucked. I don't
they
even know how they're this high up or this low. I mean,
You know what?
I'm going to Karis McKinley.
Fuck secondary. I'm going to Karis McKinley too. I am a huge believer in build from within, build from the inside out, build from the lines, the front sevens,
Yeah.
the big guys. That's how you win. You build from your line back, and that's why I'm going. That's why I'm going to change mine to Karis to today, Junior, to Karis
today,
McKinley from the University of California, Los Angeles, as my pick for the Colts. I still had Jamal Adams on the board.
Or the Colts trade their pick for the Raiders punter.
Get out of here. He's sweet though. He is. McGarrett Kings, he's awesome. I love him. But that's our mock draft for this week. It's only going to get harder next week for us. But when you have guys like Marlon Humphrey, Jamal Adams on the board, I guess 2 picks are pretty easy. But moving on from that,
this is a headache at this point.
yeah, it is. I completely forgot they were still on the board, or he was still on the board. But moving on from that, moves into our weekly segment of buy or sell. Man, we need theme music for that shit. But our buy or sells this week. We got 5 topics as normal.
Buy or sell.
Okay, all right. First off, I'll start off with the buy or sell here. I'll start off with our first buy or sell, and that is in a recent show, I guess, in a recent segment.
Interview.
Yeah, interview with who runs
Mark
it?
J. Spears.
Mark J. Spears.
Undefeated.
Dwight Howard. Undefeated. That's right. That's the show I was thinking of. Dwight Howard said he is a sure Hall of Famer. Are you buying or
He said
selling?
he's no doubt a Hall
No
of
doubt
Famer.
a Hall of Famer. Are you buying or selling?
I am selling. Holy shit, am I selling? I'll sell it for a bag of peanuts. No, okay. You having a few good seasons and then dipping off before the age of 28 does not make you a Hall of Famer.
But he had so many injuries.
You again, that does not matter.
I can't even play devil's advocate here. I'm selling wholesale.
So he's made the NBA Finals. He got swept though, right?
Yep.
Okay. I feel like you should have at least. I mean, and then the amount
Sniffed
of times
the championship?
the amount of times you bounce around teams, the amount of issues.
Well, Dr. J never won a title. Charles
amount,
Barkley never
the
won a
amount
title.
of time. Okay, but
Karl Malone never won a title.
Exactly, but they showed a competitive spirit. This guy keeps trying to bounce around teams, trying to land on a contender.
You got that right.
So he's caused problems
Dwight
everywhere
Howard
he
ruined
goes.
the Lakers. Oh,
He
God,
did.
yes.
My God.
God, yes.
He also ruined Andrew Bynum's career. I
Yes,
wonder if
he
he'd
did.
still be in the league if he was on the Lakers.
Oh, I don't know. I thought Bynum played a little bit better than Dwight Howard did with the Lakers. But no, I completely agree with you. I am selling this wholesale. Dwight Howard. The biggest thing for me with Dwight Howard's argument for the Hall of Fame, against the Hall of Fame, is the fact that the guy had so much hype coming out of college, and then even in his first few seasons with the Magic.
Well, he
and
went
then,
from high school, didn't he?
Yeah, high school. And the first few seasons with the Magic, and then he never lived up to the expectations.
He was very good.
He was very good for 2-3 years, and then he was nowhere. He was garbage. He was garbage for the Rockets.
I mean, he was good. I think he was good the whole time he was on the Magic.
The whole time. The whole time he was on the Magic, and then he was not good for the. He was terrible for the Lakers. He was bad. He wasn't good for the Rockets.
Where did he get drafted? 05?
05, I think you're
Yeah,
right.
so about 6 years.
He won a dunk contest. Though. Was that
years?
enough to put him in the Hall? No. No.
He was good for about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, okay. But for the guy to tail off before the age of 28, never won a championship, I don't think he's ever won an MVP. He's only made a couple All-Star games. How are those Hall of Fame type numbers? Yeah. The guy hardly really did anything in the league. He's just another guy to me. He's another guy. He wasn't just a guy in the beginning of his career, but he is now and has been for the last 5 or so years. He's just a guy. And that's you don't put just guys in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dwight Howard, you ain't good enough. And you're definitely not a winner. You don't have the competitive. You
gotta have a. You need to have a renaissance. Is what you need to have.
You have even less of a competitive spirit, in my opinion, than LeBron James.
Wow.
Even less.
I'd actually agree with you there. But
moving on to the second one.
You're gonna need to do a lot these next few years to justify.
Moving on to the second one.
So, Colin Kaepernick is still a free agent.
Yep.
And many have been speculating that he's being blackballed by teams because of the whole national anthem protest and basically drama and the media attention that he's been drawing. Do you think? Okay, Siri. Do you think that the reason that he's still a free agent is because of talent or because of drama? Do you buy or sell that? Do you buy or sell he's getting blackballed because of the controversy that surrounds him?
If you had asked me this question about 2-3 weeks ago, I would have sold it wholesale.
Okay.
I would have completely sold it and said, there's no way he's being blackballed by the league because, well, the guy's just trash. He's like, what, 4 for 24 in his last 32 games or so? He's 28
But then you look at the quarterbacks are getting signed.
Hold on. Thunder Stealer. He's not a good quarterback. The guy's terrible. The guy he had 2 good years. That's it. He's garbage. He's not a good quarterback whatsoever. He can't throw the ball to save his goddamn life. He can run a little bit, but that's not a quarterback. You need a quarterback to throw the ball. So I would definitely 3 weeks ago would have sold this wholesale. However, I'm not quite selling it as hard as I was now. I'm still selling. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, you are selling?
Yes,
okay.
I am still selling because I think the guy's still a garbage quarterback. He's not what teams want. He's the opposite of what teams want. He's not good. He can't throw the ball. He's terribly inaccurate. Can't really throw the ball downfield that well, and he's even worse downfield when it comes to accuracy. So yes, I'm still selling this because I think when it comes down to it, teams have to look at talent, and the reason is because guys like Greg Hardy, guys like what's his fucking face coming into the draft now that was going to the combine now sneaking in the first round, the running back.
What are you talking?
Running back from Oklahoma. What's his fucking name?
Fuck.
I can't think of it.
Continue.
Anyways, but the running back from Oklahoma who had the domestic violence thing. I'm sorry, but domestic violence is a lot worse than what
the fuck is
Colin
his name?
Kaepernick did. Colin Kaepernick stood up for what he believed in and decided not to stand for the national anthem. It pissed a lot of people off, but there were 2 sides to the argument, and both were understandable. So with that being said, the NFL look at that too, and yes, there was a lot of media hype, but a lot of these players have a lot of media hype for negative things. Is that really a negative thing? So, and again, 2 sides of the argument, both understandable. So with that being said, what he did isn't really that bad. Yeah. There's players who have done worse and create the same media attention or worse media attention that have done worse that are getting second chances. So to say that they're blackballing him because he just decided not to stand for the national anthem, that's a little soft in my opinion. I mean, these teams are going to give guys second chances no matter what, because the fans, when it comes down to it, don't give a shit about what they do. It's what they do on the field. That's all they care about. What do you do on the field for me? Do you win or do you lose? And Colin Kaepernick at quarterback loses. That's why I'm still selling this. But again, when you look at the quarterbacks being taken right now, yes, you can see a little bit how his publicity is hurting him a little bit, but it still is coming down to the fact that he's just a garbage quarterback.
That's why I switched from a sell to a moderate buy, because...
But the guy's still garbage.
No, I was selling because... I thought that for like teams that's not something like I was selling because I'm like, he just sucks. He's not that good. But then you see the quarterbacks that got taken ahead of him, and then in my head I'm like, okay, then the whole national thing, it's got to be a factor. And if it's at least a factor... It is a small
factor, but is that really... Okay, but
if it's at least a factor, then I have to buy it.
By definition of what we're saying here, that he's being blackballed by the league for what he did, that's not saying it's just a factor. That's saying that's the reason they're not picking him up.
Well, then by that, then I would sell.
Okay, thank you. But by that definition of him being blackballed by the league for what he did...
I'm just buying that it's a factor.
I'm selling. Yes, it can be a factor.
If we're talking sole reason,
but again... Yeah. Any single negative publicity is a factor in whether or not you pick a guy up. They don't blackball these guys for negative publicity anymore. Yeah. They give everyone second chances.
By the way, Oregon does advance 74-60.
Maxim Dubrova, what's going on?
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
So Oregon does advance 74-60.
Okay, so Oregon beat Kansas.
First Final Four since 1939.
Wow. Did you know there is still one team in... one Power 5 conference team left that has not won an NCAA tournament game. Can you name that team? This is trivia for you, folks. Can you name that team? It's a Power 5 conference team.
May I ask you one question?
Yes.
Were they in the tournament this year?
No. They used to be two up until this year. Northwestern was the other one.
I don't think I could. I really don't.
Use your head. Do you want me to give you a hint?
Yes.
They're a Big Ten team.
That's what I was thinking, Big Ten.
Yep, they're a Big Ten team. I have another hint that could totally give it away, but I'm not going to.
Isn't Eastern Michigan a Big Ten team?
Fuck no!
I'm kidding. All right.
Power 5, homie.
Power 5. Big Ten. It's not Iowa. I know Iowa's one.
In my opinion, a team that gets forgotten about that if they're in the Big
Illinois?
Ten. No, Illinois won a national championship a few years ago. Maryland's won national championships.
But Maryland won a game. Oh no, they got upset.
But Maryland and Illinois have both won national championships. No, actually, it is not Rutgers. It is Nebraska. The University of Nebraska has never won a game in the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
They have no basketball program. Doesn't surprise me when you actually think about it.
I actually kind of forgot they're in the Big Ten.
Exactly! What am I saying? But anyways, going back to the Colin Kaepernick thing, when it comes down to it, the guy is just a garbage... How's that for a segue? The guy is just a roughest
transitions I've ever seen.
The guy is just a garbage quarterback. He's not good. He's not being blackballed by the league. Yes, it's a little bit of a factor, but all publicity is a factor in whether or not you sign a guy.
Yeah.
So, but again, you look at the guys being signed. Mike Glennon, he had some success with Tampa Bay. Brian Hoyer had pretty decent success with Cleveland, and if you have any success with Cleveland, can't be that bad. So, I mean, there's guys that are being taken.
You know who else got re-signed? Kellen Moore.
Okay,
I'd still take Cap over him.
Okay, but a guy like, this is the same argument as to why Dan Orlovsky continued to get backup quarterback jobs.
Beyond me.
Because it goes beyond what you do on the field when it comes to backup quarterbacks.
Oh, okay.
It goes to the off-the-field coaching that you're able to provide and help off the field that you give to the starting quarterback.
You're right.
That's why I think Kellen Moore is a guy that really could be a solid backup quarterback because of the... It's the stuff that he adds to help the starting quarterback, and that's why Kellen Moore got re-signed. Probably also Kellen Moore's a hell of a lot cheaper than Colin Kaepernick.
True.
So for the bargain dollar, I mean, I'll take it. But in no doubt, my opinion, when it comes down to it, Colin Kaepernick will be on a team. He will be signed. He will be a backup somewhere, and may even start at some point during this year. But he will back up somewhere because eventually teams will call him. because that's what it's gonna come down to. You're gonna need a quarterback, and that's gonna be the guy available.
All right.
So moving on from that. Third buy or sell. Ray Allen recently, I believe it was Rajon Rondo, decided to organize a team field trip for next year to, I think it was one of the Caribbean islands or Bahamas.
It was
somewhere nice.
It was an anniversary though.
To celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Boston Celtics winning their championship.
Yeah.
However, Ray Allen was left out, and the reason is because
only player.
Only player was left out, and he's saying, nah, I'm not going to invite him because he went to the enemy. He left for the enemy. Are you buying or selling what Rajon Rondo's doing?
I sell. Because you're celebrating the championship. And whether you like it or not...
It's all right, man. Just hang out.
Whether you like it or not, he helped you win that championship. Whether you like it or not, you all likelihood might not have won that championship without him.
Oh, God, no.
So, it is, in my opinion, a dick move to cut someone out of celebrating something that he took part in. It's part of him. I'm pretty sure, isn't that the only champion? Oh, no, did he win with Miami?
He won with Miami.
Okay.
With the Shaq Miami,
That was his first... No, he wasn't there then.
Oh, he wasn't there then. It was after that. So, I think he won with yes, he did. He was huge with LeBron there.
But that was... Either way, that was his first championship he won.
Yes.
So that means a lot to him.
Absolutely.
So to cut a man out because he left the team, is, I think, it's asinine.
That's like the Wings. That's like the Wings cutting out Sergei Fedorov.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm totally selling on this, and I'm giving you a couple reasons here. One, you're right. He was a huge part of that team, and they probably wouldn't have won it without him. And he was one of the guys that was just so massive for them. He was a great shooter. Was awesome to It was a great championship for them. They needed him, and he was. Granted, Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen didn't really get along then either. Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, I'm sure he didn't get along with some other players in the team too, and they're invited. But the argument that he left for the enemy is soft because that's what people do, and it's professional basketball. It's professional sports. People leave for teams all the time, and it just so happened that the Miami Heat gave him the best offer. And he went to a team that could win. He wanted to win again. Mm-hmm. He got that taste. Now he wants more. I can't blame Ray Allen for leaving. I get being mad at him for leaving for the enemy. But I don't get being mad, and this brings into my second point, I don't get being mad at him for 10 years. Yeah. It's been 10 years. Give it up. Get over it. You guys won together. You guys had great memories together as a championship team.
Sound like you stuck in Boston. You demanded out after everyone left.
Exactly. You wanted out, and you got out. So... why are you hating on Ray Allen for doing what he felt like he had to do at the time? It's been 10 years, man. Mm-hmm. Give it up, Rajon. Invite the guy to hang out with you guys as teammates once again after 10 years. It's right. It's only right. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the very least, it's only right.
I think part of it, though, too, and this might sound petty, but...
I think the whole thing's petty.
Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and KG...
we're the big three.
Okay, but I mean, no, Rondo, Paul Pierce, and KG. When they all left, they all went to KG and Paul Pierce
traded.
went to. I know. Well, Rondo demanded a trade, but when they were out of Boston, Rondo and KG went to a shitty situation in Brooklyn.
Yes.
I mean, Paul Pierce and KG went to a shitty situation in Brooklyn. Yes. Rondo went to, was it Sacramento the first
Another
time?
Shitty situation.
Yeah. So do you think that part of it is he's pissed because Ray Allen went and left for another championship situation
when he still thought that they had something
when they left got the short end of the
stick. Could argue that, and that's kind of what I think.
Could that be part of it?
That's kind of what I think where he's getting at. And I don't even really think that's all that petty. It's just as petty as the whole situation to begin with. Because that would kind of rub me the wrong way. We had something going here. We won together. And you're just going to leave to where you think is a better situation, even though we just won. And
then they blew it up.
Yes.
They traded everyone to shitty places.
At the time, that would piss me off. That would probably piss me off for a few years after. But once my career's over and Ray Allen's career is over.
Well, Rondo's career isn't over.
I know, but Ray Allen's is. So give it up. It's been 10 years.
And he's also one of the most respected players in the league.
Absolutely. He's a nice guy.
He's a surefire Hall of Famer.
One of the best shooters in the history of the game.
He's a surefire Hall of Famer. We got to treat the man with respect. Anyway, moving on
from that.
So the next one we got here is the series of rule changes that have been proposed in the NFL for the 2017 season. There are, I believe, 14 of them in total. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run them down, and then I'm going to shoot to each one whether you buy or sell the change. We're going to do rapid fire on this one. So the first one is reducing the length of preseason and regular season overtime periods from 15 minutes to 10 minutes.
Selling wholesale.
I agree.
What the fuck's the point of that?
There's no point at all.
I do not speak Russian, man. I'm sorry.
And they were going to keep it to... They said they would keep it to 15 for postseason. Which, again, what's the point? You can't... It's not like you can tie in postseason.
Okay, I hate
It's
going
to go as long as you need it to go.
I hate rule changes from regular season to postseason unless they alter the outcome of a tie. No, you cannot have ties in the postseason. However, changing time limits and changing how many men are on the field or whatever, you can't do that from regular season to postseason. So, no, I'm totally selling the whole changing the time from 15 to 10. What's wrong with the 15 minutes? If you go at 10, you're going to have even more ties.
Yeah.
You're going to. Nobody's going to change their
No
style
one wants
because...
more ties.
Exactly. And, sorry, but 5 minutes in a game is not going to change how the effect is on a player's body.
And then I'm gonna
They still
skip,
played the full game beforehand.
I'm gonna skip through a couple of these because some of these are just jersey rules and they're kind of pointless.
No, yeah.
Like allowing teams to wear alternate helmets and shit. No one cares.
That's stupid.
Anyway, replaces the sideline replay monitor with a handheld device, sort of like an iPad, and authorizes designated members of the officiating department to make the final decision on replay views. So replays go directly to
The
New
officials
York.
on the field. Oh, to New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
To Dean Blandino or whoever is the head of officiating right now.
Problem, okay. I like it to an extent, and here's my extent. What happens, because at the 1 o'clock games or the 4 o'clock games, what happens when you have several replays at once?
Well, you have a whole team.
I know,
there.
but Dean Blandino would have the ultimate say, and he can't make the say on multiple games at once.
This is why I sell it. I sell it
I'm
because a lot of things that factor.
The
into making
replays
the
do go to
call-
New York to begin with. They already still go to New York, but it's the head referee that has the final say, I believe. So I think the replays as they are, the actual function of the functionality and what they do with the replays isn't broken. It's the amount of replays that they have now that I think is broken, and the fact that the rules really aren't set in stone. The rules are really variable and subjective. And so
The reason I sell is I feel like if it's going to New York, New York's going to be getting multiple replays at the same time.
yes.
It's going to take longer for replays.
I agree with you, and
it's
it
just
doesn't
gonna
allow
lengthen-
the head referee.
It's going to lengthen the time.
It
of the
doesn't
game.
allow the head referee to look at a replay, say definitive, this is what's going on, this is what happened definitively, and say I'm making that call. He's got to wait for Dean Blandino. You're gonna run into jams, and it's gonna make things go longer.
So I agree. Moving on, give additional protection for long snappers on kick plays.
By
don't know.
removing, I'm assuming they mean, and this is what I think they're talking about, by removing the jumping over the line in the field goals. And I'm going to sell that. And the reason is because how many long snappers do you see get hurt?
Not many.
Exactly. So why would you need to add additional protection to these guys when they already don't have that high of an injury rate? So there's no point to that. And if you get rid of the jumping over the line and field goals, I'm pissed off. I love that play. It is one of the most badass athletic plays in football to see, or in sports even, to see someone full on with not that much of a running start, mind you, jump completely over a big ass grown ass man in the middle without touching him, because that's the rule.
Well,
That's badass, and I love it. And if you successfully do that, that is the perfect timing, first off. You are getting an extremely athletic... You're showing off one of the most athletic plays ever and doing it in a literal split-second window.
now here's the thing. I do sell on this too, but I don't think you're going to see as much of a change, much of a difference, because you saw way too many times this season alone where players jumped over the line, did not jump over the center, but were called for jumping over the center. They were just calling it just because they jumped over the line, and they called it as jumping over the center.
Well, you can jump over the center.
No, I think you can't jump over the center. You have to jump.
You have to jump technically in the gap between them.
Yeah,
That's why.
exactly.
So
I don't know, but I do sell because I think they should eliminate that entirely. I think they should just let them jump.
I do too, which that goes opposite of that rule.
Yeah.
Because if they increase the protections, they're not going to allow them to jump over the line, which I don't like at all. I think they need to be able to.
And the next one is expands the crown of the helmet foul to include hairline part of the helmet. I'm not exactly sure what hairline part of the helmet. Oh, up here, right
Yes.
above the crown. As if it's not hard enough to call those hits. They're making it even more complicated.
Expand the crown of helmet foul to include hairline.
So hitting someone with the crown of your helmet. So kind of like the helmet rule. So now you can't with the crown of your helmet. You can't with the top.
Okay,
of your
you
helmet
can't
either.
like basically put your face into a guy. I kind of
I buy it for the safety issue.
I
but
buy it
it's
for the
so hard to
safety
call.
because I think really all helmet-to-helmet issues should
Yeah.
be gotten rid of to begin with. So anything, in my opinion, on the helmet, with granted, I love seeing the helmet-to-helmet hits as a fan if nobody got hurt. because they're awesome. It's the explosive hits that people love to see. But at the same time, when you really find out, as a guy who's had several concussions in his life, when you really find out what's happening to these guys getting hit in the head like that, it's scary. And you don't want that. You really don't wish that on anyone. So I think all helmet-to-helmet hits should be gotten rid of to begin with. So definitely I'm buying this.
And we're going to need to switch platforms here because I'm not getting very good loading times here.
Ew. Well, hurry it up then.
Why isn't the same thing on here?
What are you looking at, Fox?
Yeah.
Well, then pull up Fox.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that's sporting news. God damn it. Just bring me what you got. Or
That's
is it
it.
Loading? Oh, that's it.
Yeah. There's supposed to be 14. I can give you the other highlights. We'll just go with that. So the other big one is the two big ones are the replay and the overtime. The other big one is the kickoff shot clock. So
I kind of like it because it speeds up game and it forces them to remove the commercials between touchdown to kickoff, which I hate because you already have the commercials after the kickoff. So you're going commercial, kickoff, commercial.
Yeah.
Start the drive. I hate that.
I agree.
So this, I think, removes those commercials in between the kickoff or the touchdown and the kickoff, or the field goal, technically, the extra point and the kickoff. So I'm buying that wholeheartedly. So moving on from that brings us to our fifth and final buy or sell, and that is recently released David Fincher is being rumored as being the guy that could be the director of the World War Z 2 movie coming out soon. Are you buying or selling David Fincher as the director of that movie?
I'm gonna sell. And nothing against David Fincher's director. I actually love David Fincher as a director. I just do not think he is the right fit for this movie. He's directed more crime dramas, crime films, true crime. It's a zombie movie an action movie in general is not really something he's done before. So, and my issue with the first World War Z is many people didn't think so. I wanted more action.
I actually have heard that before a few times. So
I did like the movie. It was a little messy, but I liked it overall. I think it'd be better served going a different direction. I gotta sell David Fincher for World War Z 2. That's even if this movie happens, because there's some rumors.
Right. I'm selling also, and here's why. You hit the nail on the head with David Fincher being a great director, but at the same time, he's not an action movie or a zombie movie type director. He's not that style. And I think with a big title movie like World War Z 2, you need a guy that fits that role. And David Fincher just doesn't do it.
And you really want to silence the critics of the first one, too.
Right,
so you gotta hit a home run.
They had a lot of critics after the first one, so you got to have everything perfect with the second one. And David Fincher doesn't seem to be the guy, in my opinion, that really moves the needle. And I love that term tonight. But he doesn't seem to be the guy that really moves the needle for me when it comes to the director position, which is in probably one of the most vital roles in an entire movie, especially a big time movie, for World War Z 2, because he just doesn't fit. He's not the kind of director that puts out a big time action zombie movie for me. So definitely selling that one.
You know who I actually like, and it's someone we've sung the praises of multiple times on the show. I'd be really interested in what James Wan could do with a zombie movie. Even though zombie movies are not the kind, like, he's good with tension, and zombie movies aren't really about tension.
I don't like James Wan here, and that's why. Because James Wan, zombie movies are meant to be a mixture of.
But I really loved how he directed the action in Furious 7. I loved what he did with the action. In the movie.
But zombie movies are meant to be a mixture of horror and action.
Yeah.
And yes, while James Wan is great when it
nail
comes
the
to
horror
horror,
element, I'll tell you that much.
he's great when it comes to horror. See, that's actually where I think he would fail, is the horror. He nails the horror and he nails the action when it comes to Fast and Furious. However, the kind of horror that needs to go in a zombie movie does not fit what James Wan does. He's more of a tension style guy. He's more of a type of guy that puts the horror of look at the Insidious movies and the Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
They're not zombie style horror
They're
movies.
not at all.
So,
that's why I said we interested to see what we could do with it.
But see, interesting and hit a home run with it are two different things. So I don't think James Wan would be a good fit for that at all. I just don't think his action would fit, but I don't think his horror would. His style of horror doesn't really fit well with a zombie movie to me. So I don't like James Wan there. But who? I don't know.
Yeah. Don't say Zack Snyder. I'll punch you in the face.
No. Moving on. That's our buy or sell for this week. Again, we'll hit it up again next week. We love our buy or sells. They're quick little topics inside the topic. So moving on from that brings us into recently announced, well, not really recently announced, but everybody's excited about the upcoming Star Wars movies.
A lot of rumors, too.
A lot of rumors being thrown around about the next one. Who's the last Jedi? Is there more than one Jedi, which I'm pretty sure is all but confirmed?
Yeah.
Where's the movie going to even take place? I mean, there was a rumor coming out recently that the next movie, they're going to be revisiting worlds from the past, and that's one rumor we're going to touch on. I mean, what's going to happen in this movie, and who's going to be in it? Who's going to be the big focal points? I mean, you got to have the focal points of Kylo Ren and what's her fucking name?
Right. Shit.
The hot girl.
Continue though.
Anyways, and there's also a lot of rumors about the new Han Solo movie coming out too.
Ray, by the way.
What?
Ray.
Yeah, Ray. That's her goddamn name. But I mean, whether or not Ray is Ray the son of Luke Skywalker or the daughter of Luke Skywalker?
I'm gonna get to that in a second. But
so
continue.
I mean, there's so many rumors out there. What's your favorite one? And let's break them down.
My favorite one is actually the rumor that they'll be visiting Tatooine in the new movie, because the only person in episode 8 that would have any connection to Tatooine would be Luke Skywalker. You could say Leia, but since they're brother and sister, spoiler if you haven't seen the 1983 Return of the Jedi. But
I think like 30 years is enough time. I think 30 years is enough time for not have to say spoiler alert.
But I don't think she has any connection to Tatooine, because I don't think she ever was there at any point. I don't think she grew up there. So
She's still got a family connection.
So
But-
I think the only reason I see Luke Skywalker going back to Tatooine is to take either Leia or Rey. If it's Leia, then there's going to be an
That's his
interesting.
daughter.
It's what I'm saying. What reason would he have to take Rey? If there's a family connection.
The only reason he would have to take Rey is because of the family connection,
Yeah,
showing
exactly.
her where he grew up and where
Exactly.
his family comes from, and showing her the ropes of being a Skywalker. Because obviously she has no idea at this point.
Could we see a return of Mos Eisley too? Yeah, on
possible.
Tatooine.
It's possible, yeah. But no, I kind of agree with you that is kind of my favorite, because that also says to me that, and this is gonna really cause a lot of Star Wars old school fanboys to go nuts, and that tells me that Luke Skywalker could be a huge role in this upcoming film if they
Yeah.
go to Tatooine.
I've already heard that. Yeah.
Because if they go to Tatooine, you have to have Luke Skywalker play a huge role, because that's his home. That's where he's from, and that's where he grew up, and that's everything. So I mean, if you have Luke Skywalker as a big role in the upcoming film, that's going to create so much hype and so much excitement with all the Star Wars fanboys that they can't not be excited about it. I mean, I'm hyped about it, and I'm an old school fanboy of Star Wars, so definitely one of my favorites, because that leads the way into so much that could potentially happen, because it opens the door for just about everything. How much is Luke going to be in the movie? Is Leia going to be in the movie more? Are we going to see a lot?
Well, we
of
already
Luke?
know Leia's going to have a huge.
Yeah,
role
but are
in
we
the
going to
movie.
see a lot of Luke and Leia interaction? Are we going to see the general of the Rebel Force talk with Luke, the chosen one, basically? And are we going to see the fact, or the possibility, that the rumor that Rey is the daughter of Luke Skywalker? Are we going to find out who her mother is? I mean, what are we going to find out about Rey being potentially the last Jedi? I mean, I think it's kind of, or one of the last Jedi. I think it's already kind of out of the bag. It seems like there's two real Jedi left, and it's Rey and Kylo.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and Luke.
and Luke, but are we going to see
And
Luke?
technically Leia.
So, are we going to see Luke die? Are we going to see
I hope
the
not.
death of Luke
I hope
Skywalker?
not.
Which I would cry, because I love
I already
Luke Skywalker.
almost teared up at the death of spoiler alert, death of Han Solo.
Way to go. But okay. Anyways, no, I mean, that opens the door to so much, and it literally opens the door to pretty much every other rumor out there. I mean, there's so many of them.
Well,
But
here's another one, and it could be another planet revisiting rumor. Frank Oz, was the voice of Yoda, was recently asked if Yoda is in Star Wars Episode 8, and his reply was he can't comment on it. So it begs the question:
soft, but I like it.
either Yoda is in Episode 8, or Disney made everyone who's ever been associated with Star Wars signed some kind of non-disclosure agreement, even if they're not in the movie. Anyone who's ever had anything to do with Star Wars would have had to sign a non-disclosure agreement for him to say, I have no I can't comment on it.
But that means that you really can't say anything about any part of the movie that could potentially be whether it's actually in it or not.
That's what I'm saying. But like, if he's not, that means he's had no contact with Disney, which means that he could say, yeah, I have not been doing anything with Disney, so I'm pretty sure Yoda's not in the movie. So if he was, I'm saying if Yoda was in the movie, it's the only way I could see him having to sign a non-disclosure agreement where he's not allowed to comment on whether or not Yoda's in the movie. But if Yoda returns to the movie, in what capacity? I mean, he's, spoiler if you haven't seen the 1983 Return of the Jedi, Yoda died. So are we going to see a CGI Yoda Force Ghost? It'd be interesting.
Could be. Now, another one that I really like is another revisitation.
And what would he be doing? Would he be helping train Rey?
He could be, which would make sense. He helped train Luke, but
or would be training Luke to train Rey?
Or are we seeing Yoda say, she's the chosen one, train her to Luke, I put all my powers in you, and you can train her.
The chosen one she is.
The chosen one she is. But another one that I really like, it's another
train.
planet revisitation, and that has to do with more of switching it from the Rebel Force to the dark side. Ooh. And that's exploring Kylo Ren's past. And that includes going back to where Darth Vader visited. His idol, his descendant, the descendant of Darth Vader. So you
say we're going to see Darth Vader's castle from the novels?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying we could be revisiting Mustafar. Or Mustafa, I don't remember how it's pronounced. Mm-hmm. But a place that really is a big part of Vader's past that really, you try to investigate, and I have a feeling that this movie is going to really put a lot of emphasis on the reason that Kylo Ren switched to the dark side, and that has a lot to do with Darth Vader. So he's going to want to go on like a historical exploration of his past, kind of finding his way and finding himself. And that's going to bring you back to that world, that the worlds that Darth Vader visited, the worlds that made Darth Vader the way he was. So you really could see a spiritual road trip of Kylo Ren, and it takes the story in a different way and it puts it in a different light. And I'd be really excited about that because we've never really seen the full past outside of Obi-Wan turning into Darth Vader, which we've already revisited in Rogue One, kind of.
Wait, you say Obi-Wan turn? You mean
not Obi-Wan? Sorry, Anakin Skywalker turning into but Anakin turning into Darth Vader. So we've already kind of seen a little bit of revisitation there, visiting the site of the Sith Lord's castle. I mean, we've seen that before. So
yeah, that's what I was talking about, the castle.
Yeah. So you could see Kylo Ren going on kind of like a spiritual road trip, figuring out his past and figuring out kind of the motivation behind what he does, which I think again would be awesome to see, because it's kind of like the changing of the guard from Darth Vader to Kylo Ren, because Kylo Ren to me has yet to reach the level that Darth Vader reached. Darth Vader was pure evil.
Oh no, you could see
Kylo Ren seems a little soft to me so far. So if you really investigate what's behind him, we could see a totally darker Kylo Ren, and that's what I want to see. So I'd be excited about that.
And then in other rumors, this is actually not, new episode 8, but it's with the Han Solo spinoff. There it was revealed that we would find out Han Solo's real name. So this whole time, I thought Han Solo was Han Solo's real name.
It's not his real name?
So what the fuck is Han Solo's real name?
It's not his real name?
Apparently not, because they said we would find out Han Solo's real name in the new movie. It said we'll find out how he got his name, is what they said. Which I thought that was his name to begin with. So that's an interesting thing. Like, what's his name? That's a little fun thing. But do you have any other ones? Any other rumors? And those are mine right there.
The only other one, and this is purely just a theory of people, and that's finding out who Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker's true father is. And that's believed to be, what's his face? That's rumored, and it's a theory of a few people out there.
He's a child of the Force.
Yes, but remember, who kind of is, there's one character in particular, it's a big giant guy, I can't remember his name. Stoke, yes. Stoke, who is one of the leaders of the Force, I guess you could say, kind of the Dark Force. One of the...
Anyway,
but he's a guy that's considered to be, one of the original...
I thought he was a Sith Lord.
He's a Sith Lord, yes, but he's also a member of the Force.
Okay, but...
So
the way I always
him being his father is something that's being thrown around that I've heard, and that would be interesting because that would give us another answer to Kylo Ren and Darth Vader's past. So it's another, again, adding on to the spiritual revisitation of the motivation behind Kylo Ren. If you're going back that far, if you're going back that big,
I think it'll piss off a lot of fanboys if they did that.
I agree with you, because yes, Anakin Skywalker is kind of the child of the Force.
But yeah, you want to know why he turned. I mean,
Yes.
you do see it, but like,
and that
in
would
the
answer a lot of
prequels,
questions.
You do see it in the prequels, but I mean,
That would answer a lot of questions. There's no doubt. So, whether or not they need to is a different story. But again, that's something that really would be a motivational thing behind Darth Vader and behind Kylo Ren that would add into that spiritual revisitation of the past for him. So definitely something that I'd really look for. But outside of that, I mean, those are really the big rumors in my opinion. If there's a few more, I'm sure there's many more. But in my opinion, those are the ones that I've really looked out for, that I've caught my eye for sure. So we'll move on from that topic, and that takes us into just released. Was it today or yesterday?
today.
Today.
This morning.
Just released this morning.
They were teasing it all week, but
Yeah, just released this morning. DC put out the first Justice League movie trailer. We both watched it. I think we both had the same critiques of it. And trailers are always meant to look good. And they did a good job with that. No doubt. It looks good. Problem is, to me, it screams no character development.
it looks like more of the same. Is what
It looks like more of the same of Batman vs. Superman that we saw with Batman vs. Superman. And that's a big problem, because that movie flopped, and that movie was not good. And go ahead.
It looks like a typical Zack Snyder CGI ridden mess. I wouldn't say mess, but overuse of CGI.
I agree with you.
And the way, if you saw in the characters, like, this is Cyborg, this is Aquaman. It's the same
so
thing.
kind of like an introduction to a character with no backstory.
It's the same thing they do with Suicide Squad. In Suicide Squad, they literally put the text up on the screen with the picture of the character saying, "This is what this guy does." Like,
So basically, what I'm seeing with this is we're just gonna get a bunch of introduction to characters, and then we're gonna have a battle, and that's boring. To
And the
me,
way
because
they-
that's not a good movie, because that's what Superman versus
this has
Batman.
been a thing
Batman versus
DC's
Superman
been like.
was.
What you remember Batman vs Superman? How they semi-introduced the characters of Aquaman and Cyborg and Flash.
Right.
It was in a fucking email.
Yeah.
That's
And-
how they chose to do it.
The problem with DC, in my opinion, and this, you mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the trailer, is DC looks like they're trying to play catch up to Marvel.
They are.
They've got to release their Justice League movie. No, hit the brakes
They're
for a
releasing
minute.
Justice League a few months after Wonder
Hit
Woman.
the
Like,
brakes for a minute. Slow it down. Introduce your heroes. And you know what they should really do, in my opinion, I
Reboot.
pitched this earlier, and I think it's a great idea. Introduce your villains. Build a backstory for your villains. That's something that Marvel never did, and I
so
think
now
that
they
if
kind of
did,
ruined their villains with Suicide Squad.
Yes,
well,
but
some of them, not all.
what
of
they
them, but-
should have done before Suicide Squad, and I think they still could do, is give each villain their own movie, kind of. Give the Joker his own movie.
Well, like, make him the main villain in a Batman standalone.
Give them their own movie. Have a whole movie of them fucking shit up. What makes them become the evil villain that they are? Show the beginning, show the middle, show them fucking shit up before the hero comes in play. And then at the very end, you can tease the hero into it. But show the backstories of the villains, and that's what I think would set them apart from Marvel, because Marvel's never done that.
Marvel, here's the thing. That's what DC should focus on, is its villains, because that's a big advantage they have on
Yes,
Marvel.
because their villains are well known.
Marvel's
Marvel
villains
doesn't
are-
have known
Yeah,
villains.
they suck. Marvel
Yes,
villains suck, for lack
exactly.
of a better term.
DC has big time villains. The Joker, Harley Quinn. I mean,
Deadshot.
Catwoman, even Deadshot. Yes,
Catwoman,
they have
yeah.
huge name villains, and that's where they need to be playing off of.
Doomsday,
Yes,
which they fucking ruined in Batman vs Superman. Also,
exactly. But again, it's something that they could really use to set them apart, is making a true story for their villains. But yet they're rushing their way into these movies. They thought they would be able to do it all with one villain movie in Suicide Squad. No, that movie sucked. I'm sorry. You had no story for any of these villains. And the villains weren't really all that good anyways.
Batman alone has better villains than Marvel.
The Dark Knight movies. The Dark Knight movies
I'm
have...
just saying, Batman generally comics, they have better villains than
Yes,
Marvel.
agreed.
Alone.
And, I mean, the Dark Knight movies alone had better villains than all the DC movies right now, than all the upcoming DC
I mean, you
films
got
right
the
now.
ultimate villain, the Joker, but
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Give the Joker his own movie if they're keeping the same actor.
Lex Luthor. We didn't mention Lex
Yeah.
Luthor.
Well,
They
Lex
fucked
Luthor's
that
another
one up
one.
in Batman vs
But
Superman
again,
too.
if you're going to give these villains that much, their own movie, you gotta build a backstory for them.
Yeah.
You gotta build something. Give them each their own movie. At least the big ones. At least the big ones. And go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, And you can go a different way with how it's portrayed because, yeah, you want to concentrate on your villains a little bit, but also your heroes, you can make it a little bit darker than Marvel did. Marvel went with a non-dark route. DC can go darker. They've got a little bit of darkness.
That's why it works, because with Marvel movies, you never feel the stakes are that high. They're just they're really
because
entertaining. They're really well done, but I've never felt like the heroes are really in any danger.
I felt terrified for Batman and Dark Knight.
No, I'm talking about Marvel.
I know, but I know. That's what I'm saying.
And you're saying DC should go dark route, which I agree. And by raising the stakes for the characters, by making their villains, by focusing on the villains, they raise the stakes for the heroes. It makes it darker, but at the same time, you want to make it more entertaining. But you can go darker, but you got to do it right. Because they had shitty villains going darker.
Absolutely. But thing is, though, is there was no backstory.
It goes hand in hand. You're going yin to yang. You're going the opposite of what Marvel's doing, but you're trying to up them. Mm-hmm. So you're not... What they're trying to do, they're trying to just change the tone a little bit, but kind of trying to catch up with Marvel, kind of doing the same thing they did, but skipping steps.
They're trying to do things too quickly.
Exactly.
You're right. They're skipping steps, and that's a huge issue for DC.
But
that's
why we forget about that and do your own thing.
Yes, but again, that's why we've do your own thing, and that's one of the big reasons we've ragged on DC so much on this show is they just continue to fuck things up one after another because they rush things. They meddle too much into the director's image of a movie. Yeah. And it's created a huge problem for them with directors dropping out, big time directors and actors dropping out of these movies that they really can't afford. And they need to forget what Marvel's done because never mind, but they really just need to forget what Marvel's done because if they don't, they're going to end up skipping things. They need to ignore what Marvel's done in the past and just concentrate on their own image and own direction. Yeah. If we end up seeing DC, Justice League DC movies for the next 5-10 years, so be it. You may be a little bit behind the ball from Marvel, but at the same time, your movies could be better. You could be relevant again as a franchise in the movie industry. Because right now, to me, they're not relevant. Marvel's relevant. Marvel's huge. They don't hold a candle up to them.
I agree.
So, I mean, how would you fix them then?
That's exactly what I said. I would focus on your villains.
Focus on the villains. I mean, in my opinion, that's their trump card. It is their trump card. That's the one thing Marvel doesn't have is the villains. DC has the villains. Everybody knows who the Joker is. Everybody knows who Harley Quinn is.
You know what DC used to do? Just run a SWOT analysis on your brand. You would have found that already. You would have known if you just done it from the start. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Yeah. Your strength, your villains. Opportunity, villains. Done.
Boom. Done. Boom.
Threats,
home run.
Marvel.
And you know what? You can ignore your threat because you have the trump card, which is your villain.
But here's another thing.
Your strength over Marvel is your villain.
I was discussing this with my cousin over the weekend, and he's a big superhero junkie, and he also agrees that Marvel has fucked things up completely. But what his biggest issue with Marvel is, I'm talking about DC. DC's fucked things completely. His biggest issue with DC is that he says that they need to focus on finding directors that actually love the comics. Because I was talking about Mel Gibson doing Suicide Squad 2, and he brought the fact that he actually hates it because Mel Gibson's going saying he hates comics.
Animations.
DC's animated universe is amazing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right to an extent.
If they could get those guys to run the show on the live action movies, if they knew how to do it, I would love it.
You're totally right to an extent.
Thanks for coming in, Broken Dolly.
Yeah, welcome to the show, man. Hope you enjoy it. But no, you're right to an extent. I can understand that DC should stick to animation because their animations
not stick to it, but at least get someone with that team to help write the stories.
Yes, but at the same time, animation's not really big anymore. I mean, you need kind of the live action stuff now. I mean, even Disney's gone that route.
I mean, their last two animations were Justice League Dark, which is fantastic, and The Killing Joke, which I loved. Now, I mean, people loved it because of the first 20 minutes or so where they basically had Batman and Batgirl kind of fuck. But
but no, DC really should. I mean, DC, they don't have to stick to it, but they just have to change up their game plan, change up what they're doing. They're taking things too fast and skipping steps to play catch up, and they can't do. They need to forget what Marvel's done and just concentrate on their own game, and that's how they be successful. Yeah. That's how they put their names back into the argument for being the best superheroes, the best, the best out there, the best movie franchises.
Yeah.
And that's how they put their name out there. They need to develop their own brand in a way that is not to argue with Marvel's. They need to do it their own way.
Yeah.
So, got anything else for that?
That's about it.
That's about it.
That's
All
about
right,
it for
well,
me.
we'll move on from that, and that is kind of sticking with the movies here. We actually got a few movie topics this week, 3 of them.
The most we've ever done.
I think that is the most we've ever done. But moving on from that, we move into the everybody's seen recently the movie. I mean, not just recently, but for a while.
Creed. Yeah, I mean,
You've seen a lot of movie adaptations of video games. I mean, you've seen the Assassin's Creed movie become
which just came out on Blu-ray this week.
a movie, which that movie sucked. You saw Warcraft from what was that really based off a video game? Kind of was.
It is. Yeah,
It is based
Warcraft.
off a video game. Warcraft, yeah. So you've seen video games become movies.
Yeah.
All of them suck.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I'll tell you why. And it doesn't surprise me at all because most video games have a non-linear storyline. It's hard to capture a storyline of a video game, and when you try to make a movie, you're trying to focus on one storyline, and what makes a video game fun is the interactivity with the players. It's like you never see a video game have one set. You do, but most video games don't rely on their story. A movie is going to rely on its story. Video games are one property that doesn't rely on story.
There's certain video games that do.
Which is why you could pitch.
I'll argue against that. There are certain video games that do.
Yeah, which is what we're gonna do next. Pitch a video game movie.
Okay.
But so I think it's very hard to capture the essence of a video game in a 2-hour movie, which is why I think they suck and I think the only way you're gonna do it if you're not gonna go off of a single player video game that has a linear story is to find a director who really loved the game itself.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. You got to get the right guy in play that really loved the game, because if you don't have a director that played the game or really, really played the game, then
See, I'm not sure who directed Assassin's Creed, but I'm not sure they love the game because they focus way too much on the present day. Just someone who's never played the game is something they
another
would do.
reason I think people don't like the movie adaptations of these is because a lot of at least my, and I know probably yours too, favorite things about some of these games is the randomness element that you don't get in a movie. I mean, in say a game like Last of Us, you don't get to just randomly go and shoot random shit for fun. You're not going to go and kill this zombie a really badass way.
A movie that could actually make a really good movie.
Last of Us. But again, you're not going to just go and kill a zombie in a really badass way in a movie. You don't get to control that. You don't have fun with that. Or a game like Assassin's Creed, you don't get to go and fuck random chicks. Or The Witcher, you don't get to go and fuck random chicks. That's part of the fun aspect of these games, why people love these games and wouldn't like the movies based off them, because you don't get that fun randomness to it. So... but again, a lot of these also are storylines meant for video games. It's meant for you to control the storyline and change the storyline in your own way. Granted, yes, the game has ultimate control and you still follow the same storyline, but you still you're forgetting the Angry Birds movie. Oh, God. Don't even get me started, man. But no, See, I would argue that an Angry Birds movie could even be more successful than.
I actually never saw that.
I didn't either, but I could argue it could be more successful than a movie like Assassin's Creed. Granted, overall, a game
just for
movie
shits and
like
giggles,
that,
I'm pulling up the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Okay, but a movie based off a game like Angry Birds could be more successful than a movie like Assassin's Creed based off Assassin's Creed the game, because.
Yeah, you got
you create your own story. You create your own story at that point, because there's no storyline in the game. Whereas Assassin's Creed, you still have to kind of follow a storyline. And you're stuck to that. So
that's what they do with Angry Birds. They create their own story.
I know, that's why I feel like a movie like that could be more successful.
43% critic, 47%
that's the wrong game. It's the wrong game to do it on.
It's a goddamn app.
Yeah, but
I don't know what the emoji movie's going to do.
You take out the fun elements of the video game and make it into a movie. That's why they don't succeed. I mean, in all honesty,
which is why I also don't think a GTA movie could ever work too. Even though many people love it.
I'll get to it.
Okay.
But another thing is, like, a lot of the storylines in these games aren't the greatest. I mean, there's very few games that have great storylines. I mean, I can name
Last of Us is the one that comes to mind real quick.
Last of Us is one. Yes, that is one that comes to mind real quick.
It's basically a playable movie.
Yes.
It's basically what that is.
It's one that comes to mind that's a perfect fit for it. But at the same time, there's still a lot of player interaction in
Yeah.
that. You know, it's still a lot of you take control of that. So there's a lot of that's in my opinion why a lot of these movies suck. So, but that'll anything else to add to that?
No, let's move on to pitching. Right
Let's move on to that. So staying on the same topic, we're gonna try to pitch a movie based off a video game, and I'll start this one out. And I could go one of three ways.
3 ways.
3 ways here. And we mentioned one of them. I'll just throw it out now because that's the
Okay.
easiest one. The Last of Us.
Well,
that
you took mine right
story
there.
alone is a fantastic... I won't break it down then, but that is a fantastic story and is already like a playable movie. You'll love the characters.
Well, I got another one, so you can break it down if you want.
You damn near cry at the beginning of The Last of Us when spoiler, his daughter gets killed. Every single time you pick up that game, it is so hard to put down because you are so engaged in the story. And the fact that you are engaged in the story tells me that you could make that a movie. But again, you lose the element of I want to do this way instead of this way. You lose that element the directors pick for you. That's where I have an issue with and why a reason I think they fail. Another one is, and this is a lesser known game, but I'm going the horror route here. I'm going Until Dawn. Again, a playable movie. Until Dawn was basically a playable movie, and it's a horror movie that is, granted, the way they took the story kind of sucks, so you'd have to tweak it up a little bit, but at the same time, it's a cool idea that I really like. But, again, you lose a lot of the interactivity and a lot of the choices that you make. That's a big part of the game. But
I love the twist they put in there, though. But
the twist to me is kind of...
I don't know if we're referring to, like, the twist as far as...
The monsters?
No, before that.
Oh, that it was just
who
a
the guy?
fake thing?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, see,
spoiler alert.
That's what bothered me. I think it should have been real.
Spoiler alert. No,
Spoiler,
that gave you a huge villain, though.
What?
Like, that built the villain for you right there.
Yes, it did. It definitely built a villain for you, but at the same time, I think they played it in a direction that they could have played it in another direction that would have made the game better, in my opinion. So
what's your real pitch, then?
I also think they could pitch an Amnesia movie, but that's a different story. Yeah. But my real pitch, and you said this wouldn't work, but I do, and it's GTA.
All right, I'm interested in
here's why.
This.
You could pitch a GTA movie following storyline of the main character, or even if you want to go GTA 5 storyline with the 3 main characters, and follow their backstories and follow them to get to where they go, and then you can converge them all. You can have it separated, then converge them. But it works because you can have the GTA is GTA.
Well, you can't
work.
pitch Vice City because that's basically Scarface.
Right. But you could pitch a movie like GTA 5 because you can still add in the utter randomness. You can still have Trevor doing the fucked up shit that he does. Still have Franklin doing, Franklin shit, boosting cars and building his rap that way.
It'd be really smart if you did GTA 5 though. Cast the voice actors.
Absolutely, no doubt. You have to at that point.
Because they took their face models for the characters.
Yeah.
So.
But you also could still have Michael and his backstory and the build up to who he was and his family turmoil. So the story, yes, you kind of lose out on some of the randomness, but I think a lot of the online play kind of ruins that for people because there's in the storyline there's not as much randomness to it. Yes,
the storyline, but the gameplay there.
But see, the storyline is part of that where I'm going here. So you can still follow the storyline with you can still see them go and fuck random strippers or go to the clubs and get thrown out and still get drunk together and do random shit. You can still have the random elements as fillers for the movie, as fillers, because you're not just going to go the straight storyline for the whole movie. You'd have a really short movie. Yeah. But so you can still do, the random shit that they do for fillers, Trevor getting hammered one night, going out on the beach and waking up in a train station, whatever. You could still have that stuff as fillers for the movie, which would add to that randomness element that people love to GTA, which is why it would work because again, the storyline itself is.
So your plot
short.
would be the plot of GTA 5.
Yes, but adding the randomness of GTA, they're stealing cars, driving them around, fucking shit up.
And that's honestly the key. You don't want to stray too far from the plot of the game.
Right, you do have to stick with the storyline, but you can still have the random gameplay that everybody loves. So
that's how I think the key is to doing those.
I think you follow the storyline of Trevor. Trevor at the start. Well, he's not really at the start, is he? No, it's Michael. Yeah, Michael at the start.
Do you start with Michael or do you start with Franklin? I think you start with Franklin.
You start with Franklin driving, boosting the cars with his boy. I can't remember his name, but meeting Michael and figuring out what's going on there, and then. The two together, doing their robbery heist, the jewelry store, and then all that stuff. I think would make a great movie just because if you get the right people involved, but just because the randomness element adds to the movie itself, and that's what
So you'd make it part comedy then. Is what you're
Absolutely, I'd make it almost entirely comedy.
Okay.
Yes, a comedy action movie.
Okay.
It would definitely be a comedy action movie because the game itself was pretty funny.
Yeah,
and so you got
I can see it.
Yeah, you got to make a comedy action movie because there's a lot of action in it. First off, I mean, if
you're following the storyline, you have to make a decently long movie though.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah,
but
this was gonna have to be.
But the one of the best scenes I think would be, if you do this scene right, would be that you blowing up the bridge of the train.
Yeah.
Blowing up the bridge of the train would be so awesome to see. That'd be so badass. You could even make it 2 movies if you want to elongate the stories a little bit. You could make the first part 1 and part 2, which I think would still be awesome. But then you could also do a GTA 4 movie, which, following that storyline. But I think the movie line you want to go with is GTA 5. I think that one would actually work out because of the storyline being the way it is. And you can still add the randomness that people love to do. Because let's be honest, people all do the same random shit. There's nothing really, you don't go do this one day, that one day, that one day, this one day. There's not a billion things to do. There's a limited amount of things you can do. You go and shoot some random people, you beat up some random people, you steal cars.
And you fuck some people.
You can put that all in the movie, and you cover it all.
Well, there's other random shit to do, but
yes, but it's different variations of the same thing.
But my game, well, one was Last of Us, but my other one would be a little bit of a lesser known game. Not that under the radar, but a little bit lesser known, Alien War.
Okay.
That came out for the last gen, and that was one of the best video games I ever played. It was a very, very well received game. What's up, just a woof? Woof. Anyway, thanks for coming in.
What's going on, man? Thanks for showing up.
But yeah, Alien War. I think what I would do is I would just take the characters. And part of the Alien War storyline, I think he had a couple missions revolving around it, was the Black Dahlia murders. So I would make it a Black Dahlia.
So you'd go with just one part of the storyline.
I would make it a Black Dahlia police procedural.
We're talking about so basically we broke it down in the last segment. Hey babes, what's up, Alex G9277?
What's up, babe?
So we're basically in our last segment, I guess you could say, we talked about how video games or movies based off video games just really kind of suck. So, I mean, they just, overall, there's really not been any good ones. I mean, there's been good video games based off movies, but there's not really been good movies based off video games outside of, like, Silent Hill.
So now we're just tossing names back and forth.
Dead Kennedy's 69, get to the rim jobs ready. Not going to happen. Nah, we're good. But, so, we're basically pitching our own movie based off a video game. Mine was GTA, and I have my own reasons. Hey, Simple Brandon. Do you two have hardcore mod? No.
Sometimes.
No. You can't say that shit on the internet.
But anyway, so yeah, it would be it'd basically be a police procedural with revolving around the two big characters, and it would be focused on the Black Dahlia murders.
Okay.
Murders.
I can totally see it because that kind of works because
I kind of put in the vein of Zodiac is what I would kind of liken it to.
Okay. And it kind of works because you can still build your storyline yourself as opposed to relying on the movie storyline.
And then what made those games so
No.
What made those games so effective and so well received was the interrogations and the questioning. So what I would need to do, I want to get someone that's really good at first writing dialogue and directing dialogue scenes. So
talking about video game movies.
So honestly, who I would pick, even though
Simple Brandon, what's going on?
I'd pick Tarantino if he would do it. I'd pick Tarantino.
That would work. I could see Tarantino.
After Hateful Eight, that's 3 hours just straight dialogue that I was completely sucked in. So,
oh God, what? With,
imagine him penning interrogation scenes.
The Hateful Eight.
Yeah. Imagine him penning interrogation scenes. I think that would be beautiful.
I
mean, there was a little bit of interrogation in Pulp Fiction.
Not a big anime fan, personally. What the hell?
Probably should watch Ghost in the Shell though before the movie comes out.
What?
Ghost in the Shell. It's a movie that's going to Scarlett Johansson based on the anime.
Really? Do you like hentai? No. But
we're not really big on hentai.
Hey, the Bugsy and Potty Show. What's going on? How's it going?
Sexy voice is going real well.
How's it going, baby? What's going on, man? Welcome back, man.
Or a girl. We don't know.
Well, girl, whatever. Yeah, I guess. Well, no. I've seen part of their show. Isn't that a guy? Yeah. But anyways, good because it's gay. Okay. All right. Anyway, so who would you think would direct a GTA movie then? Good one.
Who would direct a GTA movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be nothing I've ever seen, so I don't know.
Probably. Okay.
Todd Phillips.
Okay. Just because he shares the last name with Trevor?
No, because he did The Hangover.
Trevor Phillips Enterprises.
Could
you imagine a build-up?
He did The Hangover, which are a comedy with three guys.
I got it. A build-up. 4 different movies. Each character has their own movie, and then you converge them in a GTA 5 storyline. Just the second half where you have them all together.
That is interesting.
That'd be fun.
5 extended universe.
That'd be fun.
Okay. That'd be interesting.
Would I suck? I don't know, dude. You guys are up on our
I mean,
channel.
you like the poster? You like the poster?
Hey, thanks for the host, man.
Tommy Wiseau directed The Room? Oh my god, my favorite person ever.
Thanks for putting us up on your channel, man. Appreciate that. But no, okay. So then, how about this? We can't pick a director for that. How about
Tommy Wiseau? He wants to have Tommy Wiseau direct.
Okay.
I didn't hit her. Gosh, I did not. They're making a movie about him making The Room, starring James Franco.
Okay, for Until Dawn, I would have James Wan direct it. I think he'd be a perfect fit.
I agree.
I think he'd be a perfect fit for directing something like that because that is kind of his style of horror, and he'd make that movie fucking terrifying. The other one I would, for Last of Us, who would you say would direct that movie?
The guy who directed Logan. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Look it up.
The tone of that movie fit Last of Us perfectly. Oh my god.
James Nguyen.
I just saw it for the second time today.
James Nguyen or James Wan? How about you two direct a porno? No thanks. But James Wan would be a perfect fit for an Until Dawn type movie, just because that it goes along with his style of horror movies. It's very suspenseful and tense, and you could it basically kind of puts you on the edge of your seat, holding on for dear life because you don't know what the fuck's going to happen around the next corner, and that's what James Wan is.
The name you're looking for is James Mangold.
James Mangold. Okay, James Mangold. Okay, I gotta see that. Directing a Last of Us type movie, it does kind of seem to be right up his alley.
Also directed 310 to Yuma, so he's done westerns too.
Okay. So, James Mangold. But I think a Last of Us movie would just
He directed one of your favorite movies, Oliver and Company.
I love that movie. I love that damn movie. It's such a feel-good movie. But no, I mean, the Last of Us movie, I think, probably would be the most successful out of all of those, no doubt. I mean, unless you went a full GTA extended universe.
I could see L.A. Noire being one of those movies.
That's the Spartan told me.
I could see L.A. Noire being one of those movies that's really, really well received, but not that successful in the box office. Okay. Which, if it's well received, I consider it success for a video game movie. Because I've never even seen a video game movie be well received. Go see a therapist, man.
Go see a therapist.
Yeah, don't kill yourself. That's not cool, man.
But no, I could see L.A. Noire, especially if you really zeroed in on one, you're right. You really zeroed in on one aspect of it. That would be awesome because you could build your own story, and if you got the right director involved to build his own story, that would work. So again, but something like, I think Until Dawn could be successful too, just because of the fact that if you get the right director and James Wan directing, I think that would just be something that's right up his alley and would be perfect because what James Wan does, I mean, that's his thing. That's what he does. So that would really work. But another one, please don't. But another, I mean, how about let's throw another pitch out there. What what video game do we think could be turned into a movie?
We just talked
outside,
about that.
I know, but outside of the ones that you and I each have, let's come up with one together. Let's pitch one.
How
together.
about pitch the worst video game movie?
Angry Birds.
Well, it already happened.
No, the worst, in my opinion, would.
I have one.
What?
I'm gonna pitch an NBA 2K17 My GM movie, where some kid wins a GM, some team
is so
forget
sports games.
So desperate to win,
so desperate to Madden game.
So desperate to get a new GM, they can't find him once they do a lottery, and whoever's the best NBA 2K player wins. That kid wins. He becomes the GM of the team for the year. And he does all these insane moves a la draft day. Completely unrealistic. Taking the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Okay. But, forget sports games. Let's go a game with an actual storyline that people follow, that you can follow.
Well, Super Mario Brothers was a terrible movie.
Yes, it was. That's been done.
It was terrible, but
I think Legend of Zelda could actually be a pretty good movie. Like if you put
you gotta
Ocarina
do
of
it
Time,
again. It'd be tough because
it would be because
there's so many
of
branching
stuff.
storylines there. It's open world, which is even tougher.
Yeah,
It's
open world games would be tough. But it does still follow a story. But again, open
you gotta
world,
get
yeah.
you
But
gotta
I think if
you gotta
follow
have
the-
someone who's a huge fan of the
I
games.
think Ocarina of Time's got such a good story though that you could actually follow it and be okay. I think that's one that you could be okay with.
I'm not entirely sold. I know it would be a terrible, terrible video game movie.
What?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, you're right. It would be Donkey Kong 64. I mean, that would be a terrible video game movie.
I got it.
What?
What was that movie? The game that just came out a few months ago where you just go to all the fucking planets for no reason.
Oh,
No, not Star Wars.
No, it's not Star Wars. I already let my okay, whatever.
Man, ouch.
Yeah. I got it. Fuck. Evil Within.
No, to the planets.
I know, but the game that
okay.
I'm pitching would be a terrible movie is Evil Within. And the reason is because while it focuses on one main story point, it branches off so much into random shit that
it would be so convoluted.
It'd be so
and
hard to
weird.
follow and convoluted. It'd be such a terrible movie. While it's a fun game to play, and while it's really fucked up and glitchy, but really fun to play, it doesn't really have a good story. There's too much random shit. It's just too random.
I agree. I think that might be the worst one.
No Man's Sky. That was it. No
There
Man's
it
Sky.
is.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Dead Kennedy 69. Wow, our bit rate kind of tanked a little bit.
Whoa, what the hell happened?
It's back up.
It's back.
Anyway, so that's about the topics we got for today.
Yeah, I think that actually closes it out. We predicted it right. A little bit of a longer show than expected, or than usual. So, again, guys, thank you so much for coming out.
Don't forget to subscribe to us on Twitter at realfanreport.com.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter at realfanreport, not .com. Stop with the .com. You did that last week, too.
I did do this. There it is.
What are you doing? Oh, there you go.
Presenting.
At realfanreport on Twitter. Hit us up there. If you guys have any topic suggestions, let us know. We'll throw them up. We'll talk about them. If you liked what you saw tonight, please feel free to hit the follow button. Please feel free to hit the follow button. If you guys followed tonight, I'm sorry if I didn't follow along with it. I wasn't really paying attention. My bad. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming out. Hope you guys had a good time. We did. Hope you guys had a drink with us. Because we like to do that kind of thing. Again, our weekend shows always have fun. We like to pitch things, obviously. But again. This show will be up on YouTube after. This show will be up on YouTube after, as always. We're still working on the podcast. Coming soon. I promise you guys.
Super
in case you miss
soon.
anything, super soon. Super. So, again,
Was
guys.
that supposed to be the sexy voice?
No.
Is that what that was?
No.
Gay voice?
So, I'm going to let you send us out tonight. I'm going to let you send us out.
So this has been the Fan Report by fans.
For fans.
Come to you next week.